Shalom, my name is Nathen. I'd like to take a couple minutes today to talk about my experience serving with Grindstone and explain what it is that makes me want to be a part of what's going on there. I'd say my interest in serving started back in 2022 as I watched Grindstone on their Fort Myers, Florida deployment, cleaning up after Hurricane Ian. They were rebuilding the home of a Gold Star mother there, and having never served myself, but having a dad who was an Army Ranger before I was born and then served in the National Guard and Army Reserves as I was growing up, thinking about what my mother went through as we watched him deploy to Afghanistan and to Germany in support of the Iraq invasion, it's made me really think about what the woman in Florida must have been going through, having lost her son in the line of duty, and made me realize that what Grindstone was doing was a good thing. I was unable to participate in that deployment or any of the deployments the following year because of life, but as I turned to the Father and began my walk in faith, became a prayer of mine that one day he would make a way for me to, get involved with Grindstone and participate in what they're doing. This past summer, got a new job, and on my way from Ohio to Colorado to start that new job, I was able to stop in Oklahoma and visit Refuge headquarters and met Bob there. Bob passed my information on to Kyle. Kyle passed my information on to Jody, and they had me come to Grindstone Training Center to help them do some of the early work there. Continued on my journey to Colorado. A few months down the road, Refuge Ruckus was going on. Went to Refuge Ruckus, and towards the end of that, Kyle pulled me aside and asked me if I could spend a couple extra days there doing some work on a mini deployment in Ada, Oklahoma. So I stayed on a couple extra days at the training center and went out with some of the local Grindstone guys to do the work in Ada and got my first little taste of what a Grindstone deployment was like. On my way back to Colorado from Oklahoma, the string of storms rolled through that resulted in the damage done in Mississippi and resulted in Grindstone deploying there. I was able to catch the last few days of that deployment and see what a full-fledged Grindstone deployment actually looks like, and got to experience that. The FOB, the guys coming from all over the country. Got to see some of the faces that I had already gotten to know a little bit, and met a bunch of new people there, and had a great time. Put together a little string of scripture here that kind of explains what it is that I'm feeling about what Grindstone does and why I want to be a part. Going to start off in Matthew 22:37-39. Yeshua answering the question of what is the greatest commandment, and his answer to that was, "You shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. This is the first and great command, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." And I think that explains exactly what Grindstone's doing. Going out to help people in their times of distress and some of their darkest times with chainsaws and the diesel fuel. I think that obviously Yeshua is the greatest example of Yahweh's love for us. Romans 5:8 says, "But Elohim proves his own love for us, in that while we were still sinners, Messiah died for us. And I think what that means is that even in our darkest times, he still makes a way for us. He still makes a way for us to turn to the light and leave that old life behind. And using Yeshua as an example, 1 John chapter 2 verse 6 says, "The one who says he stays in him ought himself also to walk even as he walked." So we're supposed to use Messiah as our example for how to walk this life out. And that's the example of Yah's love for us and sending his son, coming down here in the flesh to offer up the sacrifice for all the wrong we've done. Sets the example for us to follow, and following after him means becoming part of a body like Grindstone is. And 1 Corinthians 12:18-20 says, "But now Elohim has set the members, each one of them, in the body, even as he pleased. And if they all had been one member, where would the body be? And now there are indeed many members, but one body." And I think that's a good representation of what Grindstone's all about. A bunch of different people coming together to do the same job. Each of us are a little bit different. Each of us are made uniquely, formed in his image, but each a little bit unique. Psalm 139:14 says, "I give thanks to you, for I am awesomely and wondrously made. Wondrous are your works, and my being knows it well." So we're all made a little bit different, and we all have a part to play. We're all a member of the body. And that body is to be used for bringing the will of the Father to this earth. The concept of tikkun olam, which means repair of the world. And I think that's exactly what Grindstone's doing. Exactly what they're doing. 1 John chapter 3 verse 8 says, "The one doing sin is of the devil, because the devil has sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of Elohim was manifested, to destroy the works of the devil." So Yah sent Yeshua, his son, to earth to help destroy the works of the devil, and Grindstone is following in those footsteps, fighting against the evil that occurs in this world, even if it is cleaning up after storms. Ephesians 2:10 says, "We are all his workmanship, created in Messiah Yeshua unto good works, which Elohim prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." So Yah made all this work for us to do. He made all of it for us to do so that we could shine as a light and be an example of his love and Yeshua's love in this world. And Romans 8:29-30 says, "Because those whom he knew beforehand, he also ordained beforehand to be conformed to the likeness of his Son, for him to be the firstborn among many brothers. And whom he ordained beforehand, these he also called. And whom he called, these he also declared right. And whom he declared right, these he also esteemed." So we're all supposed to use Messiah as a guide to become sons of Elohim and to help him make right the wrongs of this world, to be a light, to love our neighbors. And I think the serving with Grindstone is definitely a fulfillment of that. Getting together with all of the body to do the work, it's definitely fulfilling, and definitely an example of the Grindstone logo here. Proverbs 27:17. Iron is sharpened by iron, and a man sharpens the face of his friend. So, will you answer the call? When he calls you, will you answer and come serve? Come help to repair the wrong in the world. I have, and I want to keep doing it. Shalom.